All right, every year I have specific posts that I need to update, or at least I should, and it takes hours of work for every article in order to get them updated. But I was able to edit mine today in just minutes. So let me show you what I did. For starters, here's the article. It's a article about pumpkin patches that are in our area. Obviously, this is going to change every year. The dates are going to change. It may be that some aren't doing patches. And so this is the new version of the article. So what did I do? I used two different tools. I used Perplexity and ChatGPT. So Perplexity.ai is really, really good at this. And so I used text-to-speech. Of course, I didn't type this. Can you please go through this entire article? Please check each location and find out what information you need to update. Also, research and see if there are any missing patches that need to add to our article for this year. And then I added a link to the article. All right, so it did it. Now, I'm using Perplexity Pro, but the basic account would get you pretty darn good. But if you want to pay $20 a month, you can get pretty darn good. Now, here's what I did. It gave the output. I wanted to adjust it so it's easier to scan to read, so I did this. At first, it added the links and it didn't have more info, so I changed that. Then when I pasted it into my article, then I noticed that some of the sources that it was using weren't the original sources, but were other like directories like ours. So I didn't want to use them. I see that as like competition, right? So, okay, so it went back, adjusted those. Then they literally said official site, official site. Well, that's weird. So I said, well, don't do that. Add something like get more info here. And so it did that. And the first time that I pasted this straight into the blog, it was kind of weird. And I also asked it to like almost make it an article, but Perplexity is not that great of a writer. And in my theory, I think people want less fluff these days, right? So like a few years back, this article probably had some fluff, and now it's just like, hey, it's that time, it's fall, here's some patches, And so it's like people want to go to the article to find the information that they're looking for. Okay, so that was the first step. The next thing was a two-prong approach using ChatGPT. Now, I wanted to do two different things. I wanted to first ask it the exact same question and see and compare its answers to Perplexity to see what it would come up with. But I also wanted to test out the ChatGPT agent. And if you're not familiar with what the agent is, I asked the same question and I got the computer to literally fire up and manually go in as if it were me or as if it were someone on my team doing exactly that. Side note, if you want to learn more things like this, you can see the online projects that I'm working on. I'm trying to create 100 automations for my business over the next year. I've got a ton of them. I've got like 30 automations running right now. You can get my email newsletter. So go to buildinecomestreams.com or click a link down below, sign up for it, and I'll keep you updated. All right. But if you're not familiar with what agent mode is, in ChatGPT, you're going to need a Plus account. For this, I'm pretty sure they may give you a few with a free account. But with the paid account, you can literally see what it was doing. So it's literally logging into a computer and doing it like you would. So I can take over. Like I should be able to literally take over this computer screen, which is kind of crazy, right? So like I'm on that website inside of the browser section, right? So it's really interesting. So I did it that way as well, just so that I could get the research that way. Also, I found out that I feel like it did not do as good of a job. It's probably not the right type of job to use an agent for. You really need to use the agent mode, I think, when you're maybe clicking around something that is a little more cumbersome to get to, like it's not easy to get to. But this was pretty easy, cut and dry type of research. But I will say, in general, the general ChatGPT did great. And so I was able to check, right? I was able to check the work. So I went back and I put in the new updated link. I updated the article. Go back and have a look at it. So like that's the key here. The key here is to use one AI tool, do some work, then go in, use another AI tool to check the work of the first one. And then at the tail end, all I did is I went to the final article and I checked all the links that it had. I just want to make sure that it linked out to the appropriate places. It did pretty good. I had to correct 2 that weren't quite exactly where I wanted, but other than that, copied it, pasted, posted, done. 10 minutes.